Drop it.
I want to kick things off because I just remember today, right before the pod. I think it was March. You told me that you announced it on the pod that if your acting career didn't take off by like January, you were gonna skip to real estate. Does that still hold?
Big time.
But you're kidding me.
Bro,
Big time?
I've already won. It's taken off. I have a Lifetime movie coming out on Wednesday.
Okay, so you're good. So you've made it. How do you define the big break? That's my question.
I'm really famous now.
How do you define fame?
Oh no. No, my objective with the next step of like in January, do I have to get a real career or not? Is if I have a day job. Dana Carvey just said his big objective when he was a comedian was could he make more money in comedy? Could he make as much so that he doesn't have to be a waiter anymore?
And that
That
needs
is
to
my
happen
step.
for you by January.
Yeah, but I mean, you called it. I'm not going to give up show business. You know.
So it's more of like a motivator.
Yeah, it's more of a motivator, and I know Valley mentality is like about to tip.
How did that event go last weekend?
It's fantastic. Um,
You have a shirt saved for my.
so what's
We'll
that,
pay you full price. You got any shirts left over?
brother? We do. In fact, I feel so bad. Manette, the icon that she is, Autumn's mother. You guys are the most supportive. She messaged you so kind to say, "Hey, like, where are you guys gonna be? Let us
She
know because
messaged you
it's
recently.
organized." What's that?
Damn, bro, you do got a number one fan.
No, but she's right though. Like, like
Dude, she
we're
also look. We love Manette. She watches the pod. She's a friend of the pod.
she's a friend, family of the pod.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, lots of support. But tell me about the event. A lot of people showed
But
up.
no, by the way, with that too, like I genuinely just want to say, like, how I like to be with my friends, brands, and stuff is like I support. Like if they're putting their time into something, they're promoting something, I want to like find out about it. I want to help out with it and everything. So I truly that means a lot when people like go out of their way and are like, hey, don't mess around. Like tell us where you guys are going to be at for this party or this event or whatever it's going to be. So that does count for a lot. Like that's what we're built upon. And so for Value Mentality, it was like a big new concept that we wanted to do a pop-up from a 1970s VW bus.
How'd you get the
And
bus?
well, so we couldn't, and the main reason for the bus was we couldn't get into the Studio City Farmers Market, which is our number one kind of concept. I feel like getting into that because it's a lot of Hollywood people and it's fun and people are smart, but it's also in the valley. And but we couldn't get into that farmers market because it was just food. And so we're like, let's just pull up this like retro bus next to the farmers market and sell from there. Found a bus. I was between like an old ice cream truck, being like a Valley Mentality ice cream man, and a bus. And I found a bus on this website called Outdoorsy, and you rent it for like 180 a day. And show up Sunday morning next to the farmers market. My mom drives stick shift, so she came with me, and you had to drive stick. Get the bus. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. We gave people a heads up on Instagram. Hey, meet us at this spot. We think we're going to be there. I get the bus. Tanner and Marissa, I didn't really like force them to come or anything, but they're just like, hey, we're not going to be there till 11. And I'm like, okay.
When
We
you
end up being what?
when did you show?
Well, 9 a.m. And the event started at like 8
Right,
a.m.
early.
And I told people to get there at 10 a.m. So we get there, can't find a fucking parking spot to save our life. And I was a little sick. And I tell myself, I failed. We can't get a parking spot. This is exhausting. There's no air conditioning in the
180
bus.
in the hole.
180 in the hole. I'm like, I don't see us getting a parking spot. I don't see us being able to sell stuff from this van. It's just I had some potential here. I thought of some, I brought everything I could, clothing wise and stuff. It's just not going to work out. We failed. And sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. And then I had the other thought of everything's worked out so far. This is going to work out too, but I just can't see how yet. And next thing I know, Tanner's like, yo, my friends are there. They're there and they're looking for you. Where are you? I'm like, we can't find a parking spot. The friends get in touch with me and they're like, hey, we'll help you find a parking spot. Don't worry. And I'm like, sure, sure, sure. We meet up in person. And me and my mom are circling at this point, the farmer's market, to find a spot. And they're like, we found a spot for you. They texted me this. We're going to tell them to stay in the spot, the people that are leaving, until you pull up, and then you'll get it. We did that. It worked. We got a parking spot right next to the food trucks. And we were late. We were like at 11. The thing closed at 1. It was the hottest day of the year, so it was kind of awkward. But, bro, we set up. Tanner and Marissa come. Their friends come. We make it a party. It was a hit. Ended up making $560.
Fuck
And
yeah, that's great,
yeah,
dude.
it's not bad,
For
right?
2 hours,
For
come
a
on.
couple hours, like, especially as far as like a life lesson goes of being at one place in the morning thinking I'm gonna fail. And then at another point of being like, we got great photos out of this. We learned how to sell off this van. We're gonna definitely do it again immediately. We made money. The van paid for itself. People loved it. It's just like that lesson of hang in there, don't count yourself out. And it's a success. And that was that. We're gonna do it like next weekend, another one.
Same spot.
Same spot.
Cool, dude.
We
The
had a bunch of
universe
actors.
opened
We
up.
had a bunch of actors like the guy from The Wire, a bunch of these different shows come out to us, just like, we grew up next door to the Ringside Liquor. We fucking love Valley Mentality, all this stuff.
Dude, that's sick. Congrats.
Thank you.
That's dope. 500 something, 180 in the
And it's
hole.
not even about the money.
But it also, I mean,
It's such peanuts. It's such peanuts.
yeah,
It's more
but
like, what does the money represent? Which is, hey, the van didn't put us deep in the hole. We paid for the van.
yeah,
By the way, like, I obviously had to tell Tanner this too. Like, he's like, oh, well, we got profit. I'm like, dude, it's ticky tack for what we want to do. What we're doing is we're getting eyes on us. We're becoming a
it's
part of that
2 hours,
community.
bro. It's 2 hours.
Well, so now next weekend we'll get there at like 8 a.m.
Yeah,
Get a real parking spot early. And then the big thing to be continued, we'll see how this goes. But last weekend, I've been reaching out to a bunch of influencers every week. I reached out to this one online marketplace called Basic Space. And they're kind of like a Poshmark online, but for invite only trendy brands like Mad Happy and stuff is on there. And I reached out to them 6 months ago. They didn't really respond. They just came back to us and said, hey, would love to set up a phone call. I'm like, yeah, fantastic. This is founder Duke Van Patten. They're like, Duke, this is blah, blah, blah from Malibu. They knew me. And they're like, we'd love to find a way to work together. So I'm going to talk with them tomorrow afternoon. You never know what can come from it. But ideally, I think it's a couple of these things where we get legitimized, someone does a profile on us, whatever, and we tip the fuck over. And like, people are like, that's the new brand because it looks so good. It looks so good.
dude, the clothing space is one of the most competitive. So for you to be at this point and couple hours, like, dude, it's starting to catch. Just keep that forward momentum. That's all you need. Now let's switch it up to the acting side of things. What do you
Wait,
mean?
last thing.
Yeah.
I just looked on our website how many sales we've had. Bro, just online, we've had 150 sales.
Huge.
That's serious. That's like when you're in the show business thing, that means like there's no going back.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway.
Bro, like I said, the first time we met, what, like 4 or 5 years ago, you were talking about Valley mentality. So it's been a part of you for a minute. But let's switch things up to acting. What have you been up to? Self
Well,
tapes, writing,
bigger than that, bro. There's stuff in the works.
like what?
I have a movie coming out next week,
Lifetime?
big time.
Is it going to be on the life? Is there like a Lifetime channel?
Yes. Um, but it's gonna be on streamers. So
Which streamer? Tubi?
I think Lifetime has their own like streamer,
I think
but
we do too.
probably like Amazon Prime. I assume I remember like the last one being on Amazon, but it's funny. Life like this one, the movie. I'm a little nervous about like telling people like watch it for sure. But I saw the dailies, they looked pretty good. And there's definitely it's a big part. I had a lot of scenes. So, there's some scenes there's like one take and done. And I remember thinking like maybe I should have asked to do that again. But I feel like it was a pretty good job. So
Being in an actor's position would be crazy because you do all this work on the day. How long ago was it? Like in a year ago or something?
something like that.
Yeah, you do all this work on the day and then you see the final fucking product. To me, like on the filmmaking side of things, I go from A to B to C to D. Actors are asking me, like, did you finish the cut? Like, when's it coming out? Whatever. I know like every little tweak on their performance that I'm doing. And it's almost like they have one shot. Like, I'm making all these decisions to sculpt it in exactly the way that I want. You can do as much as you can on the day, but it's like you just give them your raw materials and then it's just kind of, let's see how this turns out. How does the music come in? What's the color look like? How's the cut make me look? There's so much involved. And the editing too, bro. The editing and pacing can make or break a performance. It's so fucking key. What take do they use? A lot of the times I'm making decisions on cuts because of like body composition and continuity, when like it's one other take might have been better performance wise for this one actor, but ultimately all the pieces have to sew together in this way. Got to make some sacrifices. So what's that like being in your position of you remember what it was like on the day, you put your best foot forward given the circumstance, and then like a year and a half or whatever later you're going to see the final thing?
Well, it's kind of nice to see the dailies considering like for some reason I got in my head that it wasn't that good. And then seeing the dailies, it looked really good. And I mean, thinking back, I was really in the moment and trying my best
Yeah.
and like really in the circumstances acting it. So, and
Did you
just
ask to see the dailies?
no, it was just from doing ADR after
Oh, cool.
doing voiceover. Like they have you watch the scene first to get the timing right.
Did you have a
And
booth and the mic and all that shit?
yeah.
Projector? That's cool.
And so many actors, famous actors you hear, they're like ashamed to watch themselves. They like won't watch themselves.
Johnny Depp.
I'm sure. I was kind of refreshed to hear that the great English thespian Malcolm McDowell, who was the lead in Clockwork Orange,
Oh yeah.
since gone on to have a very up and down career, but he's a craftsman, to say the least, and obviously a brilliant actor. And he said, even coming from such an artistic movie as Clockwork Orange, and before that, he was discovered for that from a movie called If. And I looked into everything about him, but he came from this indie movie in England, and he'd done like very highbrow theater at the Royal Court, and went to Lambda and all this stuff. And he said what made him good was because on this indie movie, the first movie he got after doing some theater, he did the Royal Shakespeare Company a bit too and stuff. And he got this movie. The director said, who was the director of the Royal Court Theater as well, very avant-garde theater. So I saw a whole documentary on him. The director goes, Malcolm, now you're going to watch the dailies and you're going to watch the playback and you're going to see there how you stick your tongue out. No, that's not very becoming. you need to change that and put that damn tongue away. Stuff like that. He learned the point is that he's no different from a fucking someone doing a Vine or a TikTok, is being aware about filmmaking at its most minute. And that's a very sophisticated artist. And when I
Artist.
heard that, I was like, you know what? That's as artistic as of a person as it gets. That guy's fucking brilliant, Malcolm McDowell. And that director, his name, I forget his name at the moment, but I watched the movie as well. And it's got amazing moments and everything. And I'm like, what am I, stupid? I think those actors that are afraid to watch themselves, I don't know what they're going through, but they're full of shit. Because you need to be able to watch yourself, disconnect from yourself, and then work with what you got and figure out how to do it better, especially if you're doing self-tapes all the time. And so, bro, I see myself in a Lifetime movie, The Dailies, and I know what I was going for. I know I'm at a pretty good place in my artistic prowess because
That's
3 years
rare
ago I
though.
was awful.
That's a rare thing. It's not even, I mean, not a lot of actors are like Johnny Depp where they won't even watch the movie, but so many actors have a hard time making it that fucking objective. Okay, like I know what I was going for. I could have done this tweak thing, but you're kind of like looking as like a product
Yeah.
or whatever.
Hey,
A
your
lot of
director
people
hat on.
see the yeah, a lot of actors see the fucking like neck fat they've got in that one It's like all this shit that doesn't matter. And dude, that's one thing I never let my actors see the dailies on set. I never do because they're always looking for different shit and it always switches up their performance in a way that's not even tied to story. So like you on set could be a different thing,
Yeah.
but that's a really rare thing, bro, to be able to just objectively look at your own performance. I can't do that. When I was acting and I'd look back on shit, I couldn't do that.
I don't blame you. But I also come from that school of like, I thought the best actors are like also writers and editors and stuff. You know, they're just not precious about it.
Yeah.
And I think
I mean, that's your whole process, which I also believe in, which is like, let's
yeah,
just talk about story and like I'm
story.
in the circumstance and that's the
Yeah.
thing. Not let me think about to this most traumatic bullshit and kind of feel it and do this whole fucking thing.
Stars, actors, they're just another puppet. Like they're another piece of the whole pie.
Yeah, dude, that's the way it is, bro. A lot of the times I'm not even thinking about, fucking performances. Like, like the thing is, every actor on a set, even if you only have like one, like I think I told this to you before. I was on this panel for like, because I'm an alumni of the
Yeah.
school, and it was someone who just graduated, and they were asking everyone on the panel because they were mostly actors. I was like the only filmmaker. They were like, how should I like be on a set? Like how can I like kind of hype myself up for just knowing that like I'm gonna be looked at and all this shit. And I answered him, I'm like, you're just a piece of the puzzle. Like I got shots to think about, I got editing choices to be like, dude, that shit takes up probably 70% at least our shots. It has nothing to do with performance. Like if you know your lines and I cast you, that's like probably 80%.
But I would say there's also, this is good for you too, and you're getting closer to prescribing this. It's one thing to like rest them assured, and it's not your responsibility, but I want to impart this on you too. Empower them. Empower them by telling them that as an actor, your job is the same as the costume designer, as the makeup designer. Make the story come to life in the best possible way. How you get there as the actor, up to you. But I'm paying you to portray Jedediah
Long
Garnier from Louisiana in the 1700s. What would actually be happening? In the script, it says she's making breakfast and it's crawdaddies straight from the river. And I mean, think about it. There's not much to it. try to get into the mind of these people, whatever. And I'm gonna take a camera and I'm gonna try to capture it, and let's fucking make it as good as it possibly can be. If you don't get there, that's fine too. Like, more power to you. But it doesn't even matter if you're feeling it. The camera, all that matters is that the people at home believe it. I don't know. The
It's
point
a
is
hard
take pressure off them and try to inspire them to have fun role playing.
for sure. A lot of it too. A lot of my job is setting the tone for things, and that's like that affects a lot of shit. It is like a song and dance. Like
Yeah.
being in an actor's shoes, I completely understand it. I understand that perspective of you're like on a set in this moment, you know, you're in the story, but like you also have all this fucking crew. Like it's a weird kind of mindset you have to be in, and you are the product, you are the thing. But no,
It's not too much to ask for that professional actors come on with all the crew, with all the stuff,
it
and they're
isn't too much
still
to,
able
but
to try to tell that story.
I'm saying like in general, like if you just like bro, if a fucking alien came to Earth and was like it's a weird fucking yes, you should be a professional, but the reason you're a professional is because you have to get there. Like it is a weird situation. But anyway, my point is if you're if you're not there, I can absolutely tweak it and you know come up to you and like we can make it work, we can make it happen, everything you're describing, and that does happen. But it's like if we move on to another scene, like I've had experiences with actors who like come up like every take and they're like, was that good? Like, what did you think of that?
Yeah.
Like if we move on, it's everything was in sync. I'm only gonna say something if we have to make like a slight tweak, you know.
I have the new roommate. His buddy's doing a movie. He asked if I could come on set next week and do like one line or whatever. But it's an indie movie, and maybe he'll
You gonna do
have
it?
more fun with it or whatever. I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Oh, right, the surfing one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And my whole thing is like, which by the way, guy's a stud. He's just telling me one of the producers is like one of the head people at Sundance Film Festival.
One of the head people, like judges or what?
It's gonna get into Sundance, he was saying.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. I said, and he's like, dude, his friend will be on our podcast.
Hell yeah. Dude, that's the thing about Sundance and those bigger festivals. 100% it's got to be fucking flawless and you got to execute, but you got to have that in. That's what it's turned into.
It's the ends. I don't know about flawless or executing. It's, you know, there's a lot of trash movies at this festival.
Dude, I have too. You've been to Sundance?
No, I haven't. I wish you have, but I just know all the trash.
I went in like I think 2019, and dude, there was some shit.
Yeah,
There
no
was
shit.
some dog shit.
I mean, there's shit in the big leagues. Like, why wouldn't there be shit in the minors?
Yeah. It's all about the connect.
But
anyway, continue.
So I'm gonna do this thing, but like my North Star, and like I literally thought about this morning. I'm so thankful that I'm finally in this position. I can't take it for granted. I used to be so psyched out about storytelling and acting, and like now I'm like, if I go on to any set, bro, I'm gonna fucking try to make the best possible scene it could be. There's no small parts. Whether I'm in it, whether I'm not, whether I'm a writer, whether I'm anything involved, I'm gonna make what they're trying to capture the best possible. Even when I came out of my dad's movie 7 years ago or something, I was an assistant on it, and the director wanted to put me in for one scene, casually improvise some stuff. I told him no because I was so psyched out of being in anything. I didn't even know what to do, dude. I literally, it was like, if I'm supposed to be, the story is like they're on this bus, and then I didn't even know about story, dude. I didn't even write at all at the time. I was like, the story didn't even make sense to me. I was like, what are they trying to capture? I was so bad with it.
It's amazing what 7 years can do. Isn't that wild? That's not a long amount of time.
No, it's not.
7 years, and you didn't know what story was 7 years ago. That's
really
fucking wild, dude.
And by the way, I'd already gone to acting school. I'd gone to prestigious acting school. And like, I got on a set.
It fucked you up more though.
It did. We didn't spend that much time on like creative stuff, like genuinely creative stuff. And yeah, he's like, dude, because you get on a set and they're like, this is what scene we're filming today. They're on the bus, and they don't tell you much. On the schedule, it says the log line of the scene, and you look at it, and if you don't know story, to me, the log line was like devil juice. It was like, oh my gosh, that is scary. I can't even, what do I do with that information? Now, I see one sentence, I see one word, and I know how to bring it to life. Because my North Star is bring it to life in the best possible way. And I genuinely commit to that, whether I'm feeling it or not. And so, like, I love simplifying it because most people can't even do that. So it's like, surfing, this type of thing, I find out what the story is, find out what my piece in the whole overall is, and I'm gonna try to make it the best I can. If they end up using it, fantastic. If not, doesn't matter really. But I know what place I am and what I'm doing.
It's good to reflect back on where you were at, and then you can track that progress. Because even if you're not at the place of Dana Carvey, like being able to make a living at this shit, it's still, you're lining the things up. That's why for me, the January date, totally get the motivation shit. But it's like, bro, it could be February, it could be March, because you've been stacking it up every month. I recently looked back on the first half of all my filmography. I watched them back to back, and like 50, 60 shorts. And dude, there was some dog shit. And I didn't know it at the time. And at the time, I thought it was fucking great being able to go back. Even 3 years. For me, the journey's been 3 years. Feels like fucking forever. But I look back on that and you just see the growth. And you have, just like you with the acting stuff, being able to bring anything to life. It's just like this intuition that you only get by logging those hours. And we got that now. We've done so much shit at this point that it's like, now it's just a matter of time. Now we're ready for that opportunity when it strikes.
Something to feel good about.
Something. Cling on to that shit, bro. That's all we got.
It's a good point. I told my dad today, like, as far as life lessons go, it's like, I mean, talk about contradicting what I've told you in the past, maybe, but you just can't, you got to keep doing what you're doing. Keep the goals, do other stuff on the side, pivot within that, but just, you can't give up. You
No,
got to,
you can't fucking give up
no.
for indefinitely, bro. Because I know this shit is in you. It's like, what the fuck else are you going to do? You could get another job that pays better, that's more respected. Who gives a fuck? You could still make better money while still doing this shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Do it. I have it in me.
Dude, of course you do. And we're going to make something together too when the timing's right. That's going to be fucking fire. When that shit lines up, dude, speaking of looking back on shit, last week I finished my latest screenplay. It is the first one where, dude, after like 10, it's the first one where I'm like, I know for a fucking fact I could bring this to anyone in the industry, any exec, any actor, like any name, and it's a fucking great script. It's really, really, really good. And it's like, dude, if I would have given up, 2 months ago, that script wouldn't be a thing. It's like, why not keep going after it? Why not keep getting a lottery ticket? It's like, you never know when the time is going to hit. That's the one uncontrollable factor. But it's like, if you keep doing your best, you're always saying like, show up at everything, doing your best, that whole thing. If you keep your best, it's just a matter of time, bro. And it's that whole thing with the Titanic. It's like they're clinging on for dear life. Everyone's fucking falling, hidden on the backside. This is a great metaphor, yeah.
Gross, yeah.
You're fucking clinging on, bro. And it's like, it's just a matter of the last one standing who are actually showing up. I'm not talking about the bullshit of like, oh, like I thought about doing an audition last week. Like, fuck that shit. It's like, are you actually grinding every day? Are you putting in the time? Are you doing the thing? And it's just a matter of time.
That's a good way to put it. Wait, congrats on doing this, finishing the screenplay.
Thanks, dude. It's fucking sick. It's really, really scary. Really original. I'm
Whoa.
stoked, dude. It's gonna be fire. I know that I'm gonna take it to the finish line. It's really, really good. So we'll see how that turns up. I have a feeling, bro, reps are like in the very near future. And
Nice.
we got shit cooking, bro.
Did you do this one with your partner on it?
Nah, this was just me.
Wow. How long have you been writing it for?
I've had the idea and like the imagery from it, whatever, for probably 2 years. But when I really got serious, it took me maybe like
3 days.
huh?
3 days.
Fuck that, dude. I'm not like
I've
that.
had the imagery for 17 years, but
Yeah.
I've actually been doing it in
The
the last
Rocky
day and a
shit.
half.
Yeah. Rocky wrote it in like 18 hours or something.
Yeah, naturally.
Nah, dude, it was probably like a month and a half, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's cool, man. Things are happening. So what's on deck for you? Yo, first, speaking about writing, that thing you were co-writing with your dad, where's that project at?
Thanks for asking, man. I just thought about that again.
Like,
We'll
how
come
far
back to
did
it.
you get with it? Were you at the outline stage?
Yeah. Yep. My dad wrote down an outline.
Would you want to pick that up again? Or I just want to hear about like the next writing thing that you got on deck.
Totally.
You know, because I know that
Dimitri with the British
Yeah.
show has some action in England. This casting director, he's a big casting director, loves it. So they champion it. We're like, yeah, good luck. Take it for 6 months. They start their own thing.
dude,
It's
all
like,
these promises, I feel it, bro. Like, yeah. But I mean, dude, you could do the thing. It again, it's just a matter of prioritization. What's worth your time? Like, because we've talked about too, you could literally fly out there and just like knock out a pilot with them.
dude, I'm kind of getting to the point when something with like acting and writing happens. I'm like, it's so great. Like, we need to make this British show happen.
What's the holdup? Is it like funds thing? Because the budget is too big, or like what's the holdup?
I just feel like it could get greenlit by like the traditional way. So
You don't want to like sacrifice the potential of what it could be to just shoot it.
I don't know I don't know if it's worth it to quite just shoot it yet. Um, it's also like, yeah, so
At the same time, bro, if you were able to come up with something that you really execute on, it is a stronger package if you got the pilot and some footage. It's like the Saw example, bro. Like, they didn't get any movement until they shot that short.
totally. I don't know anymore.
That's something. Go ahead.
I'm more just on the
Traditional side of things, trying to
no,
make it.
not even that. Just like the mental perspective of like, I'm trying to think broad strokes here, and it's going pretty good. I have a good feeling about it actually. And it's like, we're putting in work. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do another thing, but I think it's kind of coming along. You just can't force these things sometimes.
That's also true. That's
it's a timing, it's a timing thing, you know, and sometimes it's like, we have it. People know where to find it. Dimitri's pushing it. I'm pushing it. But sometimes you got to meet the right people and make the right connects. Something else has to fall in place. Like we're doing it, you know?
I relate with that heavy on the writing side of things. Because like I said, I did like 10 subpar scripts. And that's because I was like on execution mode. I was like, yo, I'm going to get to page 90, page 90. Who gives a fuck? Like if it's 90 pages of dog shit, like there was some good moments, but it's not a cohesive, like writing a really solid spec that's really scary, like all the character moments, all that shit is like interweaved in this complex narrative. That shit it's not just about like, let's get to page 90. So this thing, it worked because I've been sitting on it for like a couple years, and eventually, you know, the pieces started to come together, and then you're like, okay, now I'm feeling this out, and you know, it kind of came together. But that's because I didn't rush into it. So there is a balance.
Totally. Totally. What do you got on the horizon? So you got this screenplay.
I got this screenplay. I'm gonna keep up the weekly short thing, but I'm gonna do them with Autumn in the apartment. That's gonna be the constraint. Because I did one with her and it got like 20K views. It performed better than the previous stuff. So I'm like, I want to keep it constrained. I can play around with that constraint. And then beyond that, I got this script that I'm hyped about. I'm gonna get some reps, and then I've got the next idea too, which I'm really stoked about. So we're just I'm getting up at 5 a.m., doing the couple hours of writing and just knocking it out.
Love it.
How about you, bro? Obviously, Valiant Mentality is big right now.
High hopes. Got this call for it tomorrow, and then
Call
Lifetime
with
movie
who?
coming out. What's that?
Call with who?
With that company, the Poshmark, the trendy. Yeah.
Cool.
And then I mean, I feel like something's about to crack, man.
And what?
Something's about to crack, and
Oh,
with
someone's about to crack. Got
no
you.
day job, and then I'm just diving in to the film world, making my
No
own
day
shit.
job right now.
No. Once I have no day job,
Got you.
I will devote my everything to making incredible art.
Blinders on.
Blinders on.
Crazy mode.
I will live on the hill, creating finger painting sculptures that wow the world. True artist.
Oh, dude. In terms of guests, you want to start getting some people on? You want to line up the next
Super down.
the friend of the roommate or the roommate or something? Should that be
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. Badass.
And you know, like you said, always thinking about new people to reach out to.
Yeah. Dude, you know who's someone who I constantly think about is Trey Calloway. That was a great fucking interview.
It was.
Him being like, just keep writing, just keep putting out stuff. Like his mentality about it is stuck with me. He was a good guest.
That's sick. His career has been nice. Like it came. I guess it wasn't easy though.
Yeah. It isn't for anyone.
No.
Just stick with it, bro. Don't give up.
Keep one foot in front of the other.
That's a wrap. Thank you, my friend. See you next
My
time.
boy. Sounds
All right.
great.